Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the lie.
Katt Williams just confirmed what a lot of people have been quietly saying for a while. 7 major celebrity names were removed from the Netflix Diddy documentary, and 50 Cent is being accused of having a hand in it. These weren't random names either. These were serious heavyweights in the entertainment world. Katt called this months ago, and now it's starting to look real. This is exactly why you clicked on this video. Katt Williams has finally joined the Netflix Diddy documentary chaos, and he's not holding back. He's calling out 50 Cent for allegedly protecting certain people while keeping the real players out of the final cut. Remember when Katt went on Club Shay Shay and said, "All lies will be exposed"? That line is hitting different now. In this video, you're going to see the 7 names that were completely scrubbed from the documentary. Straight from Katt Williams' own words, we'll break down why these people were protected, how Katt predicted all of this before anyone else, and the connections between these celebrities and Diddy that Netflix didn't want you to notice. And here's the craziest part. There are claims that people tried to pressure 50 Cent to remove controversial names from the documentary. But Katt already knew those names were never going to make it. When it comes to tapes or streaming docs, some people stay untouchable, no matter what.
Listen, in 20 years, won't do an interview. Nobody's ever talked to her, and she's never been interviewed anywhere. And now, understand, I'm not talking about one person. What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose. When I talked about Michael Jackson, when I talked about R. Kelly, they canceled me for these things because why would you talk about another black dude? Race is not where the line is drawn. It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the lie.
Before we go any further, let me make this clear. We're not touching the most obvious names like Jay-Z or Beyonce, because those conversations have already been run into the ground and people already know what's been said about them. This story starts back in 2024 when Katt Williams sat down on Club Shay Shay. That's when Katt basically laid out the roadmap for Diddy's collapse. He said Diddy liked to party and that someone had to tell him no. He warned that all lies will be exposed in 2024, and now look at where things stand. Katt called out T.D. Jakes, Diddy, and several others, saying the ones who have a problem with the truth know exactly why they have a problem with it. That wasn't just noise. That was a warning shot. Fast forward to now. 50 Cent helped produce the Netflix documentary Diddy, The Reckoning. The project includes never-before-seen footage of Diddy right before his arrest, including behind-the-scenes moments, legal strategy meetings, and allegations that raised serious eyebrows. Diddy's legal team immediately pushed back. They sent cease and desist letters to Netflix, claiming the footage was unauthorized and calling the documentary a targeted hit piece. Netflix didn't fold, and the documentary dropped anyway. Here's why this matters right now. Diddy was sentenced to 4 years in prison on prostitution-related charges after avoiding broader racketeering claims. But the situation is far from finished. There are more than 150 civil lawsuits pending, some involving allegations connected to vulnerable individuals, and authorities have said additional charges are still possible. The investigation is ongoing, and prosecutors tied to Diddy's case are now communicating with those involved in the Tupac case, which adds another serious layer to this whole situation. This situation goes much deeper than most people realize. There are even claims that people have Diddy tapes ready to leak, and these tapes supposedly feature other celebrities doing things things they definitely don't want the public to know about. And speaking of Katt, he recently made a joke that pretty much confirmed everything we've been hearing.
P. Diddy, 4 years. Say that again. But they get 27 years. 4 years. Meanwhile, they tried to give me 4 years with 2 blunts I had no intention of smoking in the first place. Same 4 years. I don't give a fuck. Being an ass-picking devil worshiper is not against the law. They put that man on a whole RICO because they thought he was f***ing vagina. They said, bring out the 9 cross. 9 niggas walked out there. That ain't even get the law. Go on and get yourself. That man liked this so much as his punishment. They sent him to the place with the most So I ain't finna say shit.
Now, I know that sounds crazy, but this wasn't just a joke. This was Katt reinforcing everything he's been saying for a while. He knows what happened, who was involved, and who managed to stay protected. So, let's talk about these 7 names. First up, Snoop Dogg. I know what you're thinking. Snoop? Really? But yeah, really. Snoop has had deep ties to Diddy for decades. They've partied together, done business together, and collaborated on music for years. They've been in the same circles for a long time. So why wasn't Snoop included in the documentary? Here's the shocking part. Allie Carter exposed Snoop, and what she said was jaw-dropping. She claims Snoop Dogg is even worse than Diddy. According to her, Snoop is more influential and more protected than Diddy ever was.
We knew that Snoop Dogg, not again, mentioned him in December of 2020, but everybody beat the hell out of me. Through you, that can't be true. What the hell do I know, right? And then recently it just came out again that Snoop Dogg got accused of trafficking children. And what did everybody do? Ooh, Snoop Dogg is at the halftime. I'm going to the halftime. But we canceled Dr. Seuss and Jemima. And nobody mad. Nobody. Super Bowl happens. They were dripping down from the letters, the LVI. I know, but then that's fine. That's fine. Let's go to the game. Make some hot wings. It's fine. It'll pass. It'll pass, right? It's a phase. It's just a phase. But oh no. Tell somebody that plastic straws are coming back and throw a fit. Let a convict get arrested. Somebody put a knee on a convict's neck and it's over. The neck of it out. Crickets. Crickets. Nothing. Everything's fine.
She first brought this up back in December 2020, but people called her a liar, tried to shut her down, and attacked her for it. But she didn't back off. Now, here's where it gets heavy. Snoop was accused of transporting young people for bad things. You'd think this would be a major scandal, right? You'd expect investigations, protests, or at least some kind of public outrage. But what actually happened? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Instead, Snoop ended up performing at the Super Bowl halftime show. Let that sink in for a moment. Think about how wild that looks. A man facing serious public allegations still appeared at one of the biggest televised events in America. Meanwhile, other brands and figures have been erased from culture over far smaller controversies. Yet Snoop kept moving like nothing touched him. Allie Carter even pointed out the symbolism at the halftime show, saying the Roman numerals LVI looked like they were dripping, but most people were too busy with food in the game to notice. So why did 50 Cent leave Snoop out of the documentary? Simple. Snoop is too connected and too protected. If 50 tried to push that door open, the documentary might have never seen the light of day. In hip-hop, there are levels to power, and Snoop sits on one of the highest ones. Some names just don't get touched. Next up is Kevin Hart, and this one's a little more complicated. Kevin has spoken about the Diddy situation, but always carefully. Never too loud, never too direct. That's not by accident. Kevin used to be around Sean Combs' famous industry camps back in the day. If you know, those events had a reputation. Kevin wasn't just passing through either. He was part of the inner circle during that era. There's even old viral footage floating around that made people question how much he really knew at the time.
Thank you. Come here. Don't sit on the bed at night. No homo. No, just don't get close to the bed. Don't get close. But it's just like, yo, we want to thank you for hosting the thing, man. It's been a pleasure. You didn't have to do it, and you did it.
No. I definitely didn't have to do it. I definitely didn't have to. First and foremost, I'm not getting in the bed. Shout out to him and what he did. I'm just gonna, if we can, let's just put the camera a little this way, just so we're not. I don't want my shot to even, I don't want it to come close to the bed at all. I should look like he fresh off a goddamn plane. I should.
Fresh off the guard stage. That's my brother right here from day one. We used to wake up and I mean, damn, pause, but like, check this out. I mean, back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older, his older brother, we used to fight over the Frosted Flakes. You know what I'm saying? Before pause was invented. You know what I'm saying? But it's my brother for real. We used to actually wrestle off of the Frosted Flakes because he used to always get up early. Now he's one of the richest stars in the world. And
Yo, what the did Puff just say? Nobody's gonna acknowledge this but me. Puff just said we used to wrestle over the Frosted Flakes, and we're streaming live. That was stupid. Listen, that was fucking stupid. Listen,
we having a good time, yo. Oh, your usher made it in the... Hey, yo.
Fuck that mic. I'm a thug. At the end of the day, I kill niggas, man. No, listen, at the end of the day, I kill niggas.
And here's where things get interesting. Kevin recently hosted the BET Awards and cracked a few jokes about Diddy that went way deeper than most viewers caught at first glance.
For somebody to invite him in, hey, don't do it, okay? We all saw the movie Sinners. Don't let his here so he can bite somebody. So he can bite Playboy Cardi again, okay? Playboy Cardi definitely been bit. Something happened, Playboy Cardi. Playboy Cardi's been bit. I know he has. Nobody let Kanye in. No! Tonight, I will do my part. Everybody will get flowers. I'll do my part to make sure that I put us on a high pedestal, man. Also, I'm gonna do my part. I'm shutting down the idea of after parties. No after parties tonight, okay? None. Take your home after this. That's why I did it on a Monday. I did it on a Monday. People gotta go to work tomorrow. No after parties. That's where it's slippery at them after parties. Okay? We're learning a lot about people, ain't we? We're learning a lot. God is good all the time. Kurt, that makes it right. Whatever I just said goes away. Funny.
Kevin cracked jokes about after parties and said, that's where things get slippery. Then followed it up with, we learning a lot about people, ain't we? Before adding, God is good all the time. On the surface, it sounded like classic Kevin Hart humor. But if you really listen, it felt like a warning disguised as comedy. He made a point to say there would be no after parties and even scheduled the show on a Monday so people had work the next day. That wasn't random, that was a calculated move. And it doesn't stop there. Orlando Brown has made a lot of extreme claims over the years, so everything he says should be taken carefully. Still, he alleged that Kevin Hart accepted a massive payout early in his career that changed his entire path.
Took $50 million to unversion his whole.
Can you explain a little bit?
No, I just told you.
Whether you believe Orlando or not, that part is still debated and unproven. What is clear is this: Kevin knows too much about the industry's darker corners. He was around, he saw things, and he understands how this game really works. But he's far too big now to be pulled into the chaos. That's exactly why Kevin didn't make the cut. Protecting Kevin also protects the comedy world as a whole, and 50 Cent wasn't about to crack that door open. Now let's talk about Mahe, and this one hits different. Mahe was one of Diddy's closest people during the Bad Boy era. He was in the middle of everything: the music, the business, the parties, all of it. If anyone has real insight, it's Mahe. But here's the strange part: he's been completely silent. It took Mahe 10 years to get out of his contract with Diddy. And even after gaining his freedom, he rarely speaks negatively about him. There's even an old V103 interview where Diddy brought Mahe into the station flashing cash, and the whole moment felt uncomfortable and off. Diddy went on air saying Mahe was finally free to work and could do whatever he wanted. But Mahe's reaction told a completely different story. He looked nervous, surprised, and overly thankful, like someone who didn't expect freedom at all. Mahe even said, "It took me 10 years to get this paperwork right here," clearly shocked that Diddy actually handed back his publishing rights. He joked that Diddy was doing good stuff, and that alone says a lot. Think about that for a second. A man who worked closely with Diddy for decades was genuinely stunned that Diddy did one good thing. That reaction speaks volumes. So why did 50 Cent leave Mahe out of the documentary? Because Mahe is either too afraid to talk or still under some level of influence. His silence feels heavy. He knows everything, yet he says nothing. Including him would have raised uncomfortable questions about why he won't speak and what might still be holding him back. Leaving him out was the safer move. Now we have to talk about Meek Mill, and this part gets complicated. Meek has been around Diddy and other powerful industry figures for years. Rumors have followed him for a long time, but nothing solid ever stuck until recently. Orlando Brown, yes him again, made another shocking statement that had people talking. He hinted that certain experiences can't be undone without giving specifics. It sounds wild, but Orlando has a history of calling things out early. Meek's name kept popping up in these conversations, and then things took another turn. An audio clip allegedly involving Meek Mill surfaced online with claims that the other voice belonged to Diddy. Jaguar Wright, who has spoken on industry issues for years, said she believed the voice was Diddy, which only added more fuel to the conversation. The clip was graphic and damaging, and it spread fast across social media before getting wiped almost everywhere. That alone raised eyebrows. So why did 50 Cent leave Meek Mill out of the documentary? Because none of that audio was ever officially verified, including it would have opened the door to massive legal problems. Meek is still active, still powerful, and still protected by high-level lawyers and serious money. One wrong move, and Netflix could have been tied up in lawsuits for years. From a business standpoint, 50 chose caution over chaos and avoided putting unproven material on screen. Now we get to Justin Bieber, and this situation is very different. Justin is not being framed as a perpetrator here. He's widely viewed as someone who was vulnerable. Justin spent time around Diddy when he was very young, and there are old public clips where Diddy talks about supervising Justin for a short period. In those videos, Justin visibly looks uncomfortable, which has made a lot of people uneasy over the years. So why wasn't Justin included in the documentary? Because 50 Cent chose to protect him. Recently, paparazzi asked Justin about the documentary, and his response was emotional. He said, "Don't ask me about that man ever," explaining that some things he had to move past for his own peace. He added that he was a kid at the time and didn't fully understand what was going on, and that he never wants to revisit it. You could hear the pain in his voice. Justin was a minor back then, without real control or context, and revisiting that publicly would have meant reopening wounds. Including his story would have crossed a line, even for Netflix. Justin is focused on healing now, building his life, his marriage, and his family, and leaving him out was the responsible decision. He doesn't need the world digging back into his trauma just for entertainment. That's why 50 Cent respected the fact that Justin was a victim and left him out of the documentary. And honestly, that might be the most human move 50 made through this whole process. Next up is Usher, and his story runs even deeper. Usher was the first major young star connected to Diddy. Long before Justin Bieber, Usher lived with Diddy as a teenager during what was known as the early industry camps. This wasn't new. This was the blueprint. Usher was the prototype, the first one to go through that system. Usher has openly said he saw things he couldn't unsee. Over the years, he's hinted at experiences that clearly changed him. What makes it even heavier is that Usher later introduced Justin Bieber to Diddy, a decision many believe still weighs on him. According to people close to the production, whatever was uncovered about Usher was far too dark to include, even in a documentary focused on Diddy's crimes. So why did 50 remove Usher from the film? For the same reason, he protected Justin. Usher is seen as a victim, not a villain. Katt Williams warned about what happens to young talent in this industry, how gifted kids get put through situations that leave permanent scars. Usher was the first test case. Usher is an R&B legend now, a father and someone trying to protect his legacy. Pulling him back into this would have reopened wounds that never fully healed. Leaving him out was the right call. And now we reach the biggest name of all, the one above everyone else on this list, Clive Davis. Most people don't know him, but if you do, you already understand. Clive Davis is the man above Diddy. Clive Davis is the real gatekeeper of the music industry. Diddy doesn't move without Clive's approval, and he doesn't make major decisions without checking in first. Clive discovered and shaped careers like Whitney Houston, Alicia Keys, and countless other superstars. He's been in the game for over 50 years, knows everyone, and is connected to every level of power. If Diddy was throwing wild parties, people can only imagine what Clive's world looked like behind closed doors. Diddy wasn't the boss, he was the employee. Katt Williams said it himself, calling Diddy just a worker and pointing directly at Clive as the one really in charge. That framing changes everything. So why did 50 Cent remove Clive Davis from the documentary? One word explains it: fear. Exposing Clive would have killed the project instantly. Netflix wouldn't air it, streaming platforms wouldn't touch it, and major networks wouldn't promote it. Clive's influence runs through record labels, media companies, and distribution channels. Going after him would have meant the documentary never seeing daylight. That's why 50 had no choice but to leave Clive out. If he didn't, this documentary wouldn't exist at all. It would have been buried before anyone ever pressed play. And that makes Clive the most important omission on the entire list. Everyone focuses on Diddy, but Clive helped create the system that allowed Diddy to operate the way he did. Diddy learned the rules from someone higher up. Taking down Diddy doesn't mean much if the architect stays protected, and that's exactly what happened. So there you have it. The 7 names quietly removed from the Netflix Diddy documentary. Katt Williams warned this was coming. He said all lies will be exposed. But he also knew the biggest names would stay hidden, from Snoop Dogg to Clive Davis. This list shows just how deep the protection really goes. The system protects its own, always has and always will. That's the real takeaway here. This Netflix documentary is only the opening chapter. The investigation isn't done, the pressure isn't gone, and the lawsuits just keep stacking up. Diddy's story is still unfolding, whether people want to admit it or not. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me which name you think should have been included in the documentary. Did 50 Cent make the right move by protecting certain people? Or should everything have been put on the table no matter who it exposed? If you found this breakdown interesting, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with someone who needs to see it, and leave your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you in the next one.